Yeah, so I want to first thank everybody that came over from the podcast I did on I Hypocrites channel. Thanks for subscribing and I really appreciate it. And for anybody that hasn't seen it yet, I'll put a link in the description. But yeah, so I kind of have no idea what I want to do with this channel. I've just been sort of doing these jump cut vlog things about how I like a 33-year-old virgin or whatever. But I kind of feel like there's only so much I can say about that. I've pretty much told the major parts of my story already. I kind of talked about how it feels to be isolated. And I kind of feel like there's already people out there talking about sort of the mechanics of being FA. And they're doing it probably a lot better than I could. And I'd probably just end up repeating a lot of things that other people have said already if I'd made that the focus of my channel. So I think I'll kind of leave that to Monday Chad Monday. Monday Chad Monday. But yeah, I've just been thinking a lot about what I said on my last video about how I want to go on a fantastic adventure. And see, here's the thing. When I said that, I wasn't just being nebulous or whimsical, but I did kind of have something specific in mind. But part of me is just kind of embarrassed to say it out loud because I'm kind of afraid people are going to tell me that I'm being unrealistic. And it's just going to discourage me or something. But I'm kind of at the point now where it's I don't really care if it's unrealistic anymore because it's basically been something that's been on my mind nonstop since I was about 14 years old. My mind will just not let me stop thinking about this, so I kind of feel like it must mean something to me. But I want to start a band. And I've been asking myself for the past 10 years, why do I want to start a band? Because it's just all I ever think about. And I've dug through all sort of the onion layers of reasons for why somebody would want to start a band. The superficial kind of oh, I just want to be famous, or I just want girls to like me. And I'm not going to say those things aren't appealing to me, but I kind of feel like I have enough free time on my hands and I'm introspective enough to have come to the conclusion that it's probably not all it's cracked up to be. It might be cool for a week or two, but I feel like the novelty would probably wear off pretty quickly. Because you listen to interviews of people who have sort of attained that stuff already, and it's I can't find one of them that says something oh, that fame and money, yeah, that made me so happy. And I'm kind of inclined to trust that these people are telling the truth. And it's like I said before, it would probably be cool for a couple of weeks, but I don't think it's the primary reason for why I want to start a band. I get this sort of emotional reaction when I watch those Randy Stair videos. The guy that was obsessed with Danny Phantom. And for the longest time, I couldn't figure out why these videos were making me so emotional, why am I so obsessed with this guy? But after a while, I kind of figured out I wish I could have just been that guy's friend and stopped him from doing what he did. And I know what he did was horrible. And I really want to emphasize that I'm not downplaying at all what he did. People lost loved ones and stuff. It was an absolutely horrible thing. But aside from that, I kind of felt like I could relate to the guy. I just felt like I could have been his friend or something. And sometimes I read comments on his videos and stuff that say oh, he was a pussy, or fuck this guy, he was a scumbag, or oh, what a loser, he did all this for attention. And when I read this stuff, it kind of hurts my soul, because I can still see the humanity that was there, hiding underneath all the nonsense that he made himself believe. And I just think about someone reading a comment like that, maybe they sort of related to Randy being in a really dark place mentally, and then they scroll down and see one of those mean-spirited comments. They think oh, well, I relate to Randy, so I must be a scumbag too. And it making a dark place even darker for them. Literally seen comments on those videos that said things if you relate to Randy Stair at all, fuck you. He was a scumbag and so are you. And it's I just can't take that. It's just too fucking much for me. Because I've been to really dark places mentally before. And just of course it's justified to feel anger at somebody killing people, but I just feel ridiculing someone could easily make a dark place much darker. And I think on some level, that's the kind of person that I'm trying to reach. I just want to say that I'm no, you're not a horrible person. Don't listen to them. You're not a waste of time. You're not a scumbag. Keep working on your cartoons. Let's make a cartoon together. And then just hope that they slowly realize that they never actually believed any of the nonsense that they got themselves all worked up about, and they just sort of let it go. I just want to get someone out of there before it's too late. Before they hurt themselves or someone else, it just kills me so much that I feel if I were his friend or something, I could have stopped him. And I think something like that is probably one of the primary motivating forces for me. He was probably too far gone at the point that he was making his manifesto videos, but I still kind of wish I knew him. And it's I never really realized that this was a goal of mine until relatively recently. I think my reasons for making music before were nebulous things oh, well, I enjoy doing it, or I just I want to make something great or something. But I think the feeling of my goal has always sort of been the same. same, you know? Like, you know, the emotional reasons for why I make music, I think, are pretty consistent. But it was always just sort of like poorly defined. Like, I never put the right words to the emotions. Because, I mean, I sort of like look back at like the lyrical themes and just like the feel of the music that I make. And it all just kind of seems like I've been trying to reach somebody like that. Like maybe someone like me in the past that like didn't even realize how sad they were. Because, you know, they weren't fully aware of how they were really feeling emotionally. Because they were just sort of like blocking it out or something. Like, I've actually tried to start bands before. Like, I had a YouTube channel about 8 years ago called Hey Major 7th, where, you know, I actually started to build like a little audience, and I was even featured on like some official YouTube channel thing called The Station 2. And, yeah, there was a good little year there where I was like steadily like gaining traction. And, yeah, I built like a little audience for myself, and like, you know, things were going pretty well. Here's the story of how mentally insane I am. It would be like sort of random people that would like contact me. Because, you know, that sort of thing happens when you have like a YouTube channel that's like doing well. But there was this one guy I remember that like sort of contacted me who had this channel that had like sort of these like weird music video type things, which, you know, I'm kind of sort of into that thing. So, you know, in a comment I said that I liked one of his videos, and, you know, I guess we became like acquaintances or whatever. But a couple of days later he made a comment on one of my videos that I sort of interpreted as him like coming on to me, because the video that he commented on was a song that I'd made, and one of the lyrics to the song was, "Come on, come right in, you know I won't tell." And he left a comment that said, "Oh, I'll come in all right." So, you know, I don't know any other way to like interpret that. But, you know, I don't even like mind being come on to by a guy. So I actually kind of see it as like flattering. Like, you know, someone out there thought I was good looking enough to sort of like come on to me. And so, you know, I take that as a compliment. But, you know, like, I'm not gay. So it's like, I don't know how to respond to this. And so I kind of ignored it. And I actually kind of felt like bad for ignoring him. But, you know, I didn't know what else to do, you know. But a couple of days later, I saw that he made like another music video, and the title of the video was something like Christians Don't Like Gays or something. I don't remember exactly what the title is, but it was something like that. And then I just started putting all these like insane pieces together in my head. Like, I just started picturing him like sitting there like stewing in bitterness about the fact that I didn't like respond back to him, and like thinking I ignored him because I was like a Christian or something, and like he was making this video as like a direct message to me. So I mean, like, I'm not Christian, but I had a couple of Christian subscribers who I interacted with regularly that, you know, they were just sort of like nice people that I'm pretty sure they didn't have any like animosity towards gay people or whatever. But I was just thinking, like, maybe he thinks I don't like him because of that. Like, I just started imagining all these like insane scenarios. But the thing is like, I had no grounds to assume anything like that, because all he did was make a video, and like I just started coming up with all these insane conspiracy theories about how like, oh, he made that video specifically for me, and that he was telling me that, like, you know, he hated me or something. I mean, in retrospect, like, I don't even think he disliked me at all, and like I didn't dislike him either, but like I'm just so paranoid sometimes. I mean, especially with online communication where there's no way to hear someone's tone of voice, and you just sort of have to like substitute in your own guess about like how they're saying something. Like, every time with me, like when I read something that somebody said to me like in a messaging service, like I always imagine it as being a scolding sort of tone. Like, I always feel like people are like coming down on me, or like, you know, putting me in my place or something, or, you know, like secretly telling me that they hate me or something. Anyway, I kind of just like moved on and like didn't think about it for a while. But about 6 months later, he left another comment on one of my videos that said, "Still being a jive turkey." And in that moment, like, I just kind of had this mental image of him like waiting for the right moment to like get back at me or something. And I interpreted what he was saying as still being a complete fraud because everyone can see right through you. Because, you know, like, jive turkey, that just means somebody that's like a liar. And after that comment, like, I felt so embarrassed and like so ashamed of myself, because, you know, I felt like he was saying something that everybody was sort of like silently thinking about me, but like didn't have the courage to tell me. And I just felt so bad about myself that I deleted my channel. And like, I just look back at that whole situation. Like, I had this music channel, I had a small but growing audience, and like I really enjoyed making content for it. And because of something so dumb, like just such a comical misinterpretation of what he said, because of like my own insecurities about myself. Like, obviously he was just like saying hi or something, but because of whatever is mentally sort of wrong with me, like, I threw it all away. And there's not a day that goes by where I'm not like absolutely haunted by the thought of, what if I kept going? Like, what the hell was I thinking? But, and, you know, I've tried to start like other music channels and stuff, but just none of them ever took off in the same way. And it is really just one of my biggest regrets. But the thing is like, I still have this dream. I still want to start a band, but it's like, I'm kind of afraid that that was my only shot. I mean, I've been continually sort of like recording music since I was like 16, but, you know, that was the only time that I ever had an audience. And I'm just not sure if I can ever like build something like that again, because I'm honestly not even sure how I built it the first time. Like, it kind of felt like magic or something. Like, I don't even remember what I did. When I say that I want to go on an adventure, this is what I mean. I want to pull people out of, like, dark places, or at least, like, relate to them being in dark places. And, maybe I can do that through music or something. Like, I dream up these, like, dramatic sort of live shows all the time. I just can't stop thinking about it. Like, I know this is all, like, fantastical or whatever, but this is just, like, honestly what I want to do. I mean, I basically have nothing left to lose at this point. Like, what am I going to ruin my reputation? What reputation? I mean, at this point, I might as well, just be myself, bro. When I go on my night walk sometimes, I sort of just, like, sit on the park bench and, like, look over at the road. And, like, I just have sort of this image of, like, the red tail lights on, like, a tour bus, like, ready to go to the next city. And, like, I just keep thinking of these sorts of images in my head. And, like, like the nervous excitement of going to, like, strange places, like overcoming fears, like being given a chance to be an adolescent for a little while. Because, like, like I never, like, got a chance to do that. But, also never losing sight of what my real goals are. Like, it's all I ever think about. Anyway, so this video is getting kind of long, and so I think I'll end it here. And of course, if you're curious, I'll link some of the music in, like, the description or whatever. Like, you may or may not like it. I don't know. But yeah, so, that's the video. Thanks for watching.